All right, I think we're alive and kicking. There we go. All right, thanks you guys for joining me today. We are talking about available positions here at Decker. So, first of all, my name is Jesse. I'm with Decker Truckline. Been here. Decker's been around since 1931. I haven't been around that long, but since let's see. I was gonna say since 1910, but how about 2010? All right, welcome you guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. So first of all, we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the available positions here at Decker. And as always, if you have a question, this is a Q&A. We do this every week, every Tuesday at noon Central here on our YouTube channel. So if you do have a question, the best thing to do is to go into our chat section and ask it. Ask your question. If you're wondering about what's available in your area, then I highly suggest that you put your zip code and let me know how much experience you have, and that way I can be more specific in my response. So instead of just saying, hey, we've got this and this, in some areas, I can actually tell you what specifically we have, whether it be refrigerated or flatbed, what the home time would be like, and what your rate of pay per mile will be based off of your experience level. So we like to give specifics. We also will be talking about some of the available positions in related to their benefits and their minimum pay. So not only just the positions and where you're running and what you're doing, but also what the rate of pay is per mile, and as well as what you can expect on a weekly basis each and every week. So hey Riley, good to have you too again. Good. So yes, that's what we'll be doing. We'll also talk about some of the amenities. There's a lot all the way around, so we're just going to talk. Well, we're as in I might be doing most of the talking. Hello, Mike. How are ya? Nice weather there again in Michigan. It is nice here as well in Montana. And I guess maybe I should start to tell you that. I'm in Montana. Now, our main terminal is in Fort Dodge, Iowa. We also have a terminal in Bessemer, Alabama, and of course, Hammond, Indiana for main locations. We have a shop in the Des Moines area, or in Des Moines. And then Sperry, Minneapolis, we have a shop. And then, of course, Missoula, Montana as well. So we've got one in Montana that opened in 2010. Fort Dodge, of course, being the main terminal where orientation. Most of our driver managers are there, our safety department. I mean, most of our in-house are in the Fort Dodge area. And because the company itself, Decker Truckline, started in the Midwest, that is where the majority of our freight is. So whether you're in the over-the-road division or in the more regional positions, odds are you're going to see the Midwest. That's pretty common ground for us. But as far as orientation, definitely we'll be seeing that in the Midwest, in Fort Dodge. So Mike says, I have a DOT physical, and hang on, it's blocking you here. I have a DOT physical. Can I add my 2 cents worth too? You can. You can. This is not, I'm missing half of what you're saying just because the emoji option is up there. So as soon as we get more comments in the chat, I'll be able to respond to you fully. Speaking of DOT physicals, let's talk about the DOT physicals as well as orientation process, since that's actually where it all starts, right? With the DOT physicals, we can take your current physical, if it's current, of course, it was good for at least a year, and you have at least 6 months left on it. Then we can use that one. However, we will need to have you send over your long form in order for us to get that approved, and then we'll sign off on it. But if it's good for another 6 months from now, from when you get started, and you've had it for a year, or it'll be a year, then you're probably just fine for using that. I can add my 2 cents worth. Yes, okay, fair enough. I got you. Chris is asking about, and I'm going to bring up some of these locations. So Chris Robinson is asking about Temple, Texas. Hello from Temple, Texas. Not asking. Hey, Chris. 4176. Good to have you, man. Thank you. Yes, you can have your 2 cents worth with it. Sorry, half of it was like covered. Flatbed Trucker says, sup? It's up to you. Yeah, how is the weather there, Chris? It's gorgeous here. It's definitely not too hot, and the sun keeps hiding between some clouds, but it's not too shabby another. Um, Mike says that Mother Trucker YouTube says that they lowered the allowed blood pressure levels. Mine is just a bit high because I need to lose 30 pounds, and I'm a cheese addict. Oh, yeah. When it comes to cheese, Mike, I'm with you. I yeah, I'm a cheese fanatic myself, right? I like the good stuff too, like the unfortunately it's expensive, but I love it. Just ordered blood pressure machine off of Amazon, recommended by a friend. Oh, you'll have to let me know is if it's easy to monitor. Good. Chris says it's hot and sunny for now. Storms moving in tomorrow. Woo. Yeah, be prepared. You guys in the Midwest have been hit by storms enough already. Cheese, sour cream, and dairy products. Those are all dairy products. Me too. Mine is beef jerky and dairy products. Mike says he got it in the mail yesterday. Um, have been taking some readings. Good. Yeah, good. So um, speaking of measurements and stuff like that, so when we've got your physical, we can work with the current one if it's good to go. If you do have some borderline or high measures, then usually they're only like a 3 month, sometimes a 6 month physical. And if that's the case, then we'll have to get a new one anyway because it just didn't meet the minimum requirement. So that's a good point. Um, but when you come aboard to Decker, your insurance with us starts after 60 days. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an 80/20 plan. We have medical, obviously, right there, dental, vision, prescription. The prescription plans actually all across the board. So we have prescription plans that are $0 copay for the generic, but we also have options for the $0 copay for brand name and specialty drugs. So you guys should check those out if you're part of the Decker team or if you're looking to come aboard. Those are definitely things that you'd want to explore. So let me know and we can do some checking into that. Chris says, yeah, we're lucky we got a load going to Tennessee. To get out of it. Good deal. Um, Katie says they're in the Decker truck line. She says your health as a truck driver is important. Happy to hear you're taking care of it. Yeah, driver fitness, driver fatigue, driver fitness, all of those kind of factor in too with CSA. Yes. Mike says, there's another trucking company in Iowa that mostly hauls Blue Bunny. Read an article on the most unhealthy ice creams, and Blue Bunny is near the top of the list. Ooh, don't tell me that. Ice cream is healthy as far as I'm concerned. Mostly air and corn syrup. How many of you guys made ice cream when you were little? With the old coffee containers. Is that just a me thing? Was that just a us thing? We always made it, and we didn't have corn syrup in it. Chris says, yes, Blue Bunny is the best ice cream around. Totally agreed with you. Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. I know we have some, we've got some ice cream runs into Laurel, Maryland, and southern or southwestern New York. We don't do a whole lot in the New England states, but those are two exceptions I know, and yes, they happen to be ice cream. Mike did say that this morning he took his blood pressure reading, got an orange warning. Ooh, you lay down, relax. See if you can control that, and then you can know, and now you're back at green, which is below the DOT requirements. See, that's fantastic. Yeah, having that machine, that was a good recommendation then from your buddy, because now you can just kind of use that to monitor it and fix it, right? I mean, someone who lives 6 miles. That's coming from someone who lives 6 miles from the Blue Bell Creamery. Whew. Yum. You just bought an ice cream making machine? Ice cream aftermath. Yeah, you can't make any ice cream right after for your DOT physical. That might, especially if you're putting sugar in it, that's not going to work. That's going to throw some things off. Some numbers not in your favor. That we should have a talk on proper prep for DOT physicals. um, Chris says, this is my second time with Decker, and out of both times, I haven't even been further east than PA. That's pretty normal. Yeah, when it comes to running lanes, well, obviously, Chris, you know this, but for when it comes to running lanes, most of our running lanes are in the Midwest, like the majority, from Denver to, maybe I'm going to extend it all the way to PA. So Denver to PA, that's the majority of the running lanes, right? And then north and south. As far as our over the road refrigerated, we run a lot out west, and I'm talking Washington, the state of Washington, northern Oregon, Hermiston, Pendleton, Portland. We do have a lot of runs along I-5 from Southern California up to Seattle. We're not necessarily hiring that whole route, but we definitely have runs that direction. We run into, obviously, the state of Montana. Missoula is where we have a terminal. And then we have Salt Lake City area. So in Utah, Reno, Vegas, those are all areas that we'll run. We are hiring out of Vegas. We're hiring out of Salt Lake City. We have areas, several areas in the Midwest, but I mean, once you start moving from west to Midwest, you're looking at a couple areas around the Cheyenne, Wyoming location, Denver, of course, Denver, Colorado for over the road refrigerated. But most of it is going to be up and down the Midwest. Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kansas, especially Kansas City area, really good. St. Joe. We've got a lot of freight for refrigerated Dallas. Dallas, Texas is pretty busy for us. And then Tennessee, Memphis. Really, we've expanded into the Southeast as well. So anywhere from Texas to the Carolinas is pretty decent for us freight-wise. And we can get you home about every 11 days for 3 days in that area. You forgot Michigan, he says. Yes, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So St. Louis and Minneapolis South in the Minnesota area. Michigan, more so like Paw, Grand Rapids and south. When we've got Wisconsin, definitely around the Milwaukee area. Really anything around Chicago is going to be pretty decent for us. Just a lot of Chicago area freight. Like I said, we started all in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and been running it for quite some time. So it's very common, it just definitely makes sense that the majority of our freight is in the Midwest. And I mean, we have customers that we've had since the beginning. So that is what it is, right? We're working on getting to Missoula to meet my fleet manager. Who's your fleet manager, Chris? iHealth Track. Oh yeah, that I have seen, Mike. The iHealth Track. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. I grabbed my phone to look it up. It's not on my phone. Oh, Ashley is? Very cool. Yeah, you'll have to head out there. This is probably ideal time of year to head out there, before smoke, because Montana we get haze from a lot of smoke, although there was a Canadian fire that brought a lot of heavy smoke down here. But with the forest fires, usually around August, end of July, it's just not as fun. Mike says Decker might want to put one in their employee break rooms. That's a great idea. That's a great suggestion. Let me get my notebook. Yeah, that's a great suggestion if that's a possibility. iHealth Track. That's an app on your phone though too, isn't it? Because I thought it was like one of those green apps on your phone. Speaking of employee break rooms, we have a PDC, so it's Professional Driver Center in Missoula. We have one in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is our main one. We have quite a bit that goes into that one. We have an area in Bessemer. We've got locations like in the Des Moines location. It's minimal. We don't have the washer and dryer like we do in Missoula and Fort Dodge, but we do have some. We've got like the coffee, just a break area more so than anything. If you guys need laundry facilities and you're in the Des Moines shop for, say, an A or B service or repairs or whatever, get with the office there because we can get you a car to sign out. So you can use one of our company cars for a couple of hours, go use it, go run your errands, go do laundry if need be, and then come back to get your truck and return the car and someone else can use it. So that's always a good idea. There we go. I just wanted to write that down before I forgot. That's a good idea, Mike. I like it. When you can measure your own... Whoops. That was my mouse. Hopefully the one battery is the only one that I need. Anyways, he says when you can measure your own blood pressure, it gives you some incentive to be conscious of working to get it down. Yeah. No showers in the Des Moines either. Right, that's what I meant. That's right. No showers in the Des Moines either. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, not just washing, not just washing machine, but Des Moines. Something fell. Thanks, Katie. It was my mouse. That's what happens when it's not, connected directly. It's not tied to the machine, right? Tied to the actual computer. Okay. So no showers there. But like I said, if you need access to those, that's what the cars are used for, is to sign that out. In Fort Dodge, there's a whole lot of facilities, not just for the drivers themselves. Our professional drivers have, there's a hotel, motel or whatever on site. So if you are getting an A or B service or additional work done on your truck and you're going to be staying overnight maybe, then we have 4 rooms, 4 rooms that are private rooms that you can stay in and for the night. We also have, there's games there, there's lounge, popcorn, there's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, check that out. Mike says, yeah, I mentioned above how the blood pressure machine talks to the health app on your phone. You can read it and chart your BP, your blood pressure readings. Yeah, see, that's great. I think that might be an option. We'll have to look at. Good suggestion. Anything, gotta improve the fitness as well. Driver fitness, of each of our professional drivers. When you're taking a look at the whole overall spectrum of it. Speaking of health and everything, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we do have a lot of available resources, free resources through our EAP program that you guys can check out as well. So if you are interested in more information there, check that out. There's counseling, there's just, it goes over and beyond the mental health resources themselves. It goes into everything, but check that out as well. Always trying to improve those type of numbers. Improve your blood pressure and health numbers. But yes, physicals, back to where we originally started, physicals are part of the orientation process, as well as both the hair follicle and the urinalysis. So I'm coming full circle here, I swear. But the urinalysis and the hair follicle drug test we do before you come to orientation. Same with the physical. If your physical is good for another 6 months, remember that is one of the requirements. For the hair follicle and the urinalysis obviously being DOT required, we will try to schedule those at the same time of your physical if you need a physical still. Otherwise, we'll schedule those together before coming to orientation. And you need to complete all of that along with your online orientation, which we will send you once you're approved. We'll send you the link and to access that, the login information to access that, so that you can complete it before orientation. Otherwise it really slows down your orientation time, and instead of being a 3.5 day orientation, it would be like a week orientation, and you probably still have questions, which and you might still. That's okay. We've got ambassadors and support along the way for you if you do have those questions. But Mike says, I've been a runner and fit most of my life and I always kept my weight down except for the last 5 years. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when the pandemic hit, there were a lot of people in our area who lost their jobs, especially with restaurants and stuff. They downsized significantly. So everybody in the area that was still working, we all tended to eat out a lot. And that most definitely changes your body structure, right? Yeah, he says in 2020 I was 184 pounds and when driving OTR and I was running on my lunch breaks and got down to 160 pounds. That's fantastic. Yeah. Lots of running. Resistance training. Do you do any resistance training in your truck? A lot of times when I talk resistance training, people are assuming heavy weights, but you can use bands. Bands travel super well in the truck. Mm-hmm. Plus, there's weights now that are like the block weights that they're adjustable. There's several different styles out there. Power block is my favorite. But anyways, the bands are fantastic for you. They're better for your ligaments, supposedly, as well. Fitness, yeah, then you have a lot of resources. But yeah, the bands are great for you. Body weight can be great because you just kind of manipulate body movements as well for resistance, push-ups, different angles of push-ups, and pull-ups and squats. Yep. Now I do push-ups and sit-ups and jump rope. Yeah, all good. All good. More HIIT style, right? 40, 50, 10 type intervals maybe. But with push-ups, you guys, there's so many. Okay, now I'm getting off track. But push-ups, we'll have to do another video on those. But you've got the military style. You've got, enclosed where you can do more tricep push-ups and then staggered push-ups as well that work all parts of your upper body, your chest, and your back. So you can do quite a bit just with body weight, you guys. Yeah. And speed makes a difference, and breath makes a difference in your squat as well. Any of the movements, but those specifically. Okay. All right, orientation. In Fort Dodge, Iowa, if you need transportation there, we can get you a rental car or we can get you a flight, depending on where you're coming from. So all of that we can arrange that. We pay for it. However, if you were to leave us within the first 6 months, we do have a repayment program. So you would be responsible for a portion of whatever that expense was to come aboard. So if you decided to leave at, 3 months or so, we'd knock off $300 off of whatever expenses initially we incurred. But at 6 months, even if there was $1,200 on it, it's wiped clean. It's forgotten. It's just, due diligence is basically covering everything. Corbin says, what's up, Corbin? Long time. Corbin says, if you want fitness, just be a flatbetter. Or have a munchkin, right? That'll keep you busy. Good to see you. Yeah. So once you've completed orientation, or once you've come to orientation, to complete it, you'll have about 3.5 days. It will depend on if the number of flatbed drivers and refrigerated drivers in the class, because obviously those are timed according to them. The length of it, really, because flatbed drivers, you guys are going to go for an extensive or an extended time period, because you'll have the securement and tarp training as well. You'll test and then train. And the reason we test first is some of you guys have the understanding, the experience, and you don't need to go through that whole training. So yeah. Mike said that, yep, I originally wanted to do flat. Winter weather, it'll beat on you a little bit. I'm driving at night, so you like reefer. Yeah, a lot of people I've noticed that it's probably 50-50, I would say, but There are a lot of people who do prefer to drive at night, and refrigerated is probably, you know, a good option for that. We do have night driving. Now that you bring that up, Mike, we do have night driving. So if you are someone who doesn't or can't drive at night, then we probably wouldn't be a good fit, because some of our loads just you're picking up in the afternoon, 3, 4 maybe, and then you're going the distance to wherever that's you're delivering, and it could be an early morning, 2 o'clock delivery time. So yeah, that's something that you definitely have to keep in mind. Do you have to go through it? You'd have to go through the test, and then, but yeah, in your case, you wouldn't. I would be very surprised if you had to go through the tarpon securement training all over again. I don't know. Should I be judging your stuff? Mike says, yeah, I like night driving because I don't have to quit early to find a truck spot or at a truck stop. Yeah, not only that, but so it's less traffic, obviously. You can kind of just keep at your speed, and you don't have as many interruptions either, it seems like. Somebody was talking about trying to get around scales the other day on our live. Someone was saying, yep, I just stay home at that time, or I'll do night driving during the blitz. They just don't like the downtime. That said, please make sure that you guys are doing your pre-trips and your post-trips. If you are doing the night driving and you're not getting, not as many scales are open, obviously, at that time, but you still need to make sure that you are protecting yourself and others that are out there. And you want to make sure that you're getting ahead of any maintenance issues that might be occurring as well. So very good point on that. But with refrigerated, we definitely do night driving. Yeah, you don't get caught in the rush hour city driving. That's like, yeah, Cincinnati, Atlanta. Yeah, definitely don't have that. I do not have to worry about that. Montana doesn't have that same rush hour. But still, to each our own. It's a little different. But we do have a lot of construction. Whenever it gets nice enough to walk outside, we have construction in Montana. And I think of, when I think of construction, I think of not only Montana, because obviously I live here, but I think of Chicago, the Chicago area, and all the construction that's there seems like all the time. So that said, no matter where you're at, you guys, please be prepared for construction season. It is already in full swing in most locations. And when you're talking construction, you obviously need to give a little bit more time to get to wherever it is that you need to get to, right? Some of our trucks, some of them are opt-to-idle. They all have APU units on them. And sometimes in some construction, you might, instead of sitting and idling, you might have to turn it off, because in some locations it takes quite some time to get moving again, because they'll shut you down or stop you for half hour in some locations. So if that's the case, please make sure that you have plenty of water, just keeping your truck full of fuel, so that if you do get stuck for a while, you're not like on fumes. Not full necessarily, but at least knowing where you're at and managing. There are several apps out there to help you stay ahead of the construction, knowing where it's at and when you're planning your day. And our routing system is supposed to help with that as well, with the Manhattan routing system. Mike says, yeah, there's 2 seasons in Michigan, winter and construction. Yep, Montana too. I think for most of us, that's pretty common. Maybe not winter, it might be. For some, it might be summer in the South, but yeah, we definitely have the construction. And I swear, along I-15, that is, for I don't even know how many years, that's all there is construction. And I'm like, that part of the road was fixed last year. How come there's construction again? Who knows? Well, I don't, but it's there. I can tell you that. But with us, it's construction and fire season. So there could be trucks coming in and off of the interstate or off the highways with water trucks or whatever, just trying to get help with the fires as well. So right now we haven't had to worry about that, but it definitely is end of July, beginning of August, or in August. That isn't uncommon, so be aware of those type of things too. Speaking of Montana, how the heck are you, Jeff? Jeff Parker's here. He's in Texas, 92 degrees here today. What is the temperature where I'm at? Yeah, we are. So it says it's 57. Today will be warmer than yesterday. It's 57. I'm like all jacked about it, and you're like at 92. And that's why I have a sweater on. Still good. Still good. So Jeff is out of Montana. Out of Montana, we have our over-the-road refrigerated division. It's about 2 to 3 weeks out at a time for most. I know some of our professional drivers do stay out a little bit longer. You just leave the tractor and trailer in Missoula on your home time if you're running out of the Montana area. That's not the same for most locations. Keep that in mind. Montana is an exception to that. But with the size of Montana and where our freight is located, Missoula is the best spot for us for obviously storing the truck and trailer when you're on your home time. Mike says he's never made it to Montana for a short time. There was no daytime speed limit. Yeah, that was in what, the 90s? I-94? Yeah. It was on my bucket list. It's back. There's a speed limit now. Jeff says he's doing good, just hot as heck. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Mike says the Autobahn in Germany is on a bus or a passenger in a minivan. Ugh, that would be horrible. Dean, how are you? 2 days in a row, Dean. Good to have you. He's in Michigan. It's 84. Well, that sounds like a beautiful day, too. Mighty try to come back to Decker in the near future. Good. I'd love to hear that. That's good. Good. Yeah, so then for those, if your driver manager is in Missoula, yeah, obviously you can meet them there, but the orientation is still in Fort Dodge, you guys. So Fort Dodge is orientation. And once you've completed the orientation, then you'll go walk through with the maintenance department, going through a lot of the amenities in the truck. So our truck has a lot of amenities. Where should I start? APU, inverters, refrigerators, microwaves, TVs, Epic View satellite television. You guys, for those of you who have asked, the Epic View Plus, which we're transitioning to, I don't know if it's started yet. I know we had our trial people, but I haven't seen any that have moved on to the upgrades beyond those who initially tried it out. We have quite a bit of the equipment, but we're waiting for the go-ahead from Epic View to go. And at that point, when you come in for I believe a B service, you'll be able to get the install. But I don't think it has started yet, even though we had hoped to start by now. But those of you who were asking, Jack, I was thinking of you, asking about the owner-operators, lease purchase drivers, and what they would be able to do for Epic View. You're not required to upgrade. As of now, we weren't provided equipment yet for owner-operator lease purchase drivers. So that's all I know right now, and as of price, we don't have an update on that either. So Mike says 81 in Vicksburg, Michigan. Record warm winter, very cool spring. I have not been swimming in my pond yet. Yeah, I wouldn't yet. Although 81, that's not too shabby. I would probably by that time. Jeff says I bought a fancy new truck. Get to break it in between Missoula and Billings. Woohoo! There you go. Yeah, nice 5-hour trip. 5.5. Yep. Josh Hawkins says, great company. Getting live loaded in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Josh. Good to have you, man. Good. Love it. Live loading. So speaking of loading, live loading, unloading, preloaded trailers, when it comes to refrigerated, the percentage is about 60% that are preloaded. So we do have quite a bit of preloaded trailers, the majority, but obviously not a high majority, like not, I mean, high, it's still the majority, but it's not like 90%. So you're about 60% that is live, or excuse me, that is preloaded trailers. The rest is live loading and unloading. A little bit higher with the flatbed division, with the preloaded trailers, probably closer to 70%. As it is for flatbed, you do need to tarp and secure pretty much every load. So be prepared for that. For those of you who are wondering how much of it is tarping and securing, pretty much all of it. Just expect it. Whereas for the company side, or excuse me, for the refrigerated side, there we go. Refrigerated side, even though we might not be all preloaded trailers, it is still 0% for driver unload. So we still pay lumpers to load and unload the trucks. It is not our drivers. Our drivers do not lumper loads. Mm-hmm. There is an exception. Is there always an exception? No, just there is an exception, and that's for our teams. When our teams are running some of our bread loads, they are lumpering, but those are, I'm putting a but on here. Here's an asterisk, because thing is you're lumpering loads, and those are heavy carts that they're rolling on and off, but you are rolling them as a team. They're about 300 pounds rolling off and on the cart. So loaded, they're about 300 pounds, I bet, with bread, because all of the different layers. And then you'll unload. Yeah, you'll unload the full ones, empty, and then put on empty ones to go and reload again. So yeah, that's part of it. But that's only on our team dedicated right there, that we have that bread load that we have the lumpering. The rest of it is no touch freight. No touching. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. Too many jobs since recently. Yeah, that is definitely something that we take into account. And I know, Jeff, that it is even stricter now than it was in years past. So I think, off the top of my head, I was trying to remember what the requirement was. I want to say no more than 4 in the last 3 years. No more than 4 jobs in the last 3 years. I'll have to double check with the recruiting department on that one. Yeah. If you've had more than 4 jobs in the last 3 years, I think that would automatically disqualify you for right now. Mm-hmm. Mike says part of the new FedEx terminal got wiped out by the tornado 8 miles from the shop. Ooh, man. In Portage, Michigan. Dang. Do you guys remember when Western got laid out by the tornado? Do you remember that? What, was that in 18? How long ago was that? Maybe that was 19. I can't remember. But that was ugly. You hate to see that. And there's been enough tornadoes around. I can't talk. What's new? Okay. Refrigerated. What else did we talk about? We talked a little bit about night driving. Chris says, yep, we're about 2 miles from that when it came through there. Whew. Yeah, that's tough. But you were close, huh? I visited with some professional drivers who were in their truck and picked up during a tornado, brought back down. That was, what is it? It's coffee. No, it's not coffee. It's actually a like an energy drink. It's a Arbonne. It's pretty good. It's like not a huckleberry flavor. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the flavor. Blackberry, maybe? It's really good. I don't know if I need energy. You guys probably are like, come on, less caffeine, lady. But, you know, it is what it is. Mike says it was F2 tornado that went through Portage over a week ago in 1981, and an F4 tornado that went through downtown Kalamazoo was when without electricity for 2 weeks. Holy cow. I was without electricity about 2 weeks ago for a day. No, mine was probably 8, just a couple of hours. But I was talking to friends of ours that were probably only 30 minutes away, um, at least by road, and they were out for 2 days. But there was no tornado. There was no tornado. It was just wind, and we got kind of how it is in Montana. We always get those like May, end of April, May, sometimes June blizzards, the last one of the season. Yeah, last one of the season. And then you get 4 more. No. It's, but we did have, they had 8 inches of snow. We just got a skiff of snow, but a whole lot of rain, which I won't argue because we needed the rain because, like I said, we want to avoid that smoke fire season. Mike says, no electricity for 2 weeks, but lived on a lake, so took a bath in the lake every day. Now I have generators. Yeah, smart. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I live in an area that you really got to have a generator, just in case. It might not do anything for your internet, but at least you can shower and, bathe, wash clothes, and read in the light. Generators are nice. Yeah. Speaking of generators, APUs, same type of thing, right? APU, those are nice. We have the inverters in pretty much all the trucks. The trucks are double bunk. Yeah, we got some creature comforts of our own. We also have the solar panels on some of the trucks, which will increase the life expectancy of some of those APUs. So they live a little bit longer. They do their job just a tad bit longer for you, which is nice. Because those APUs are fantastic. I mean, when they work, they are awesome. But like anything, it does have time that it's going to go down and break down, or maybe just even got to troubleshoot it a little bit to get it work. And those can be frustrating, but it's super nice to have those, especially when we're coming into some warm time of the year and you're going to need that air conditioning, even when you're not when you're driving necessarily, but might be relaxing, watching a little bit of TV on your downtime, and or maybe you're just hiding out from the hot weather. Might have been outside for a bit, come inside to the truck and cool off. Yep, you gotta have those. Those are nice. Good things, right? Creature comforts. We all have our creature comforts. All right. We also have, in the Midwest, we also have over-the-road flatbed as well as over-the-road refrigerated, and we have more of a regional flatbed as well. So if you live in areas of Chicago, good area. Michigan, parts of Michigan, yes, definitely. Right now for Michigan, we have, I think Grand Rapids and South is currently available. We're not hiring on the east side of the state right now for the flatbed, but we definitely have. No, for refrigerated, excuse me. Yeah, flatbed, you're good. We also have our $1,450 minimum, so you get paid $1,450 per week for the Midwest flatbed home weekly position. So that's available if you guys are looking at it. That number, you guys, should I have said this before? Probably. The number that's coming across the screen, 877-433-2537, that's to our recruiting department. So if you have questions, feel free to give them a call. They'll be able to answer those for you. Chris says, speaking of that, does the truck with Opti-Idle count against the idle time on the scorecard? No. Awesome question, Chris. Very, very good question. This is something that comes up every now and then because obviously most of our Opti-Idle trucks are the Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions, and the majority of our trucks are the 579 Peterbilts. So it doesn't come up that often, but when it does, I want to remind anybody, if you have Opti-Idle on your truck, please speak to your driver manager and let them know that there may be a discrepancy on your scorecard for the fuel compliance, or for idle time, not fuel compliance, idle time. Okay? And the reason I say that is you're obviously with opt to idle, you don't have the control that you would if you were the one in control of your idle time, right? Opt to idle takes care of that. So with that being said, with the opt to idle, if you have that on your truck, speak to your driver manager, tell them that you have it and that there's a discrepancy in your idle time on your scorecard. Okay. If you've lost any points for your scorecard, if you haven't lost points, then it's probably already documented. Because the thing is once Janelle in the fuel department recognizes or knows that your truck is an opt to idle, then she'll be able to take care of it while you're there. So when you come over, or when you're newly assigned to a truck and find out that it's opt to idle, that's when you need to have that discussion with your driver manager. And then Janelle and your driver manager will discuss that so that they can fix it. Cool? Okay. Or you might even just want to call Janelle directly. Or let me know and I can reach out to her. So, Chris, I'll double check on that for you to see if yours is marked as it. What'd you say for, hang on. I know earlier you said your truck number. I'm terrible with truck numbers. So 4176. Okay. Opt to idle. So let me double check, okay? And then see if she's got yours. Because the idle time definitely counts against you. If you've got a lot of idle time, it will count against you on your scorecard. And our scorecard info just came out this, Monday? Or last week. But it just came out, so you guys are probably going through your numbers. You should be going through your numbers with your driver manager anyway, making sure that they're where they need to be or discuss how they can be improved, whether it be on your end or the DM's end or both of yours. So make sure you're having that discussion with your driver manager no matter what, or fleet manager or whatever, okay? But as for the opt to idle, we'll go ahead and take care of that. There's no reason to idle if you have an APU. There isn't, but with the opt to idle, there is no APU. It's the opt to idle takes the place of it. There's still an inverter, but the opt to idle controls that more than. And that's honestly, that is probably our biggest argument right there when it comes to argument. Might be a poor choice of words, but that's our side of the argument, Mike, is that yeah, if you've got your APU, and as long as it's working, if it's not working, that's a different story. But if you've got your APU, then you shouldn't be idling. Yeah. Chris says, no, my opt to idle works much better than the APU. It seems to keep up with the heat during the summer. That's good to know. I didn't know whether or not, I hadn't asked anybody that. But yeah, with the APU, with the opt to idle, you don't have the control. With the APU, you do. But I did hear that, obviously it'll kick on, so you don't have to get up in the middle of the night. So if your APU shuts off, you got to go start your rig, where the opt to idle will go ahead and start it for you, so you don't have to get up every time. It might still wake you up if you're, for those of you who wake up to our lighter. Some of you are just used to the hum of it, and it doesn't affect you one way or the other, but it will. You don't have to actually physically get up and start it where you would with the APU after 8 hours? I think they're supposed to go to 10, but they don't always, especially if you have like a CPAP or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so cool. That's good to know. I didn't realize that, but it's better than the heat, huh? Chris says, I had the 579 last time, and it sucked during the summer for the APU itself in the heat. Yeah, I know. Well, and there were different APU units as well. I know we did get an upgraded APU units in our truck. What are they right now? With the tri-pack. They redid them a little bit. I wonder if I have any new info. It's a new tri-pack unit is all I know. So I don't know what all is different on it. I should probably find out. But I can give you guys a couple of videos. We did get a new video from, let's see, it was the Cascadia, right? Yeah, we did get a new video, I think, on the Cascadia from the manufacturer. I'm looking. Give me a sec. I'm searching. And I'll share with you guys some interior videos that you can check out after the fact. You can also just go onto our YouTube page and you probably find exactly what you need there. Ooh, it's bogged down. It doesn't like me streaming and doing it at the same time. But yeah, you can actually go to our YouTube channel when we're done and check out that as well, because there's a lot of equipment videos. Peterbilt, Freightliner, Cascadia. We've got one that includes all of them and kind of the interior and exterior, some of the trailers. So yeah. Mike says, it sounds like the air conditioning on the APU needs to be recharged. I never had it get hot on me in Georgia or California in the daytime with an APU. But the CO2, yeah, the company I worked for had reefer that were for. Dean says the Opta Idle is a noisy, hot truck that runs longer than an APU. The APU doesn't get hot. Plus, idling these new trucks leads to more problems with the regen. And the DPF filter, and other emissions. Okay. Mike says hauling vegetables at 45, not beef, or ice cream at -10. Yeah, that would make a difference. Yeah, with the reefer units. Chris says he loves his Cascadia. Hope I get another one when it comes time for a new truck again. That's good. It's always interesting to me, and we were actually talking about this the other day while we were going through some of the equipment updates. It's always interesting to me being here at Decker for the last 15 years or 14 years, and Peterbilt is that we're a Peterbilt company. We have some Volvos, we have some Freightliners, but most of the time when someone is coming aboard to Decker, that Peterbilt is pretty much the truck that's on their mind. And there are definitely a handful of our drivers who love the Freightliners or love the Volvos. Like, everybody has their own, right? And their own reasons for it. So it's cool. Chris says, my Opta Idle never wakes me up, sleeping right through it. That's good. That's good. I've talked to a couple of people that isn't necessarily the case, but I've talked to, like you said, like yourself, who said, yeah, I just sleep through it. It doesn't bother me at all. And Jeff says, Pete's are awesome. Yeah. Yep. Now, I know some of you guys see those 389 Pete's. Those are for more of our veteran drivers. We do have quite a few of them, but that's because we have quite a few veteran drivers. And of those professional drivers, they get to spec the trucks a little bit, and the 389s tend to be the ones they spec. Some of them are manual, some of them aren't, but most of our trucks, like on the company side, are all, most of them are automatic, except for some of those 389s. And there's a lot more chrome on them too. But I can add up, yeah. Dean says, your neighbor doesn't get any sleep. It's the only noise in Fort Dodge. Oh. Yeah, so everybody has their own opinion on the truck and their preference, right? Yeah. Yep. And it could be the APU unit, it could be the reefer unit as well, because there are definitely those who don't park next to reefers because it's too much for them. Everybody's a little bit different. Chris says, yeah, I was hoping for a Pete, but at the end of the day, a truck gets me down the road and makes the payday. That's exactly right. Which now that, you're just leading me into this one, Chris. But I want to give a shout out to our maintenance department. We have 24/7 maintenance support. They rock. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have questions, and I always do, because if somebody, it's fairly often somebody will ask me something on a live, or maybe even in the Facebook group, or just on the phone, and I'll have questions for the maintenance department. I'll be like, I don't know. some of that's way over my head, too technical. And then the maintenance department comes in, answers me quickly, gives me the details and why. I like to know why. I want to know more than just the answer. I want to know why. And thankfully, Matt Tyson, they are fantastic at giving the details. And but you're right, keeping you on the road, keeping you moving. We do offer breakdown pay if you guys ever run into that, but we have the minimum pay to protect you from possibly not getting the miles because of breakdown as well. But you'll get the better of the two on those. Dean says it's like a reefer on stop-start. Hammond needs a... Oh, I'm talking about the maintenance support staff, like the 24/7 maintenance support techs, to give them a call. As far as some of the locations, some of it is based off of those, just trying to get individuals. Yeah, like hiring isn't easy when it comes to a lot of locations as well. You've got the number of mechanics and making sure that they have the right credentials. We have a few more credentials that we require than other shops, but that's because of the equipment that we have. So, and we want to make sure that these warranties stay, that our warranties stay good. So yeah, there's quite a few requirements that way. Cool. All right, you guys. Well, I did promise that I'd hop on TikTok again this week, as well as probably here in just a little bit as well, to hope answer some questions. If you need anything, please reach out to us or call our recruiting department at 877-433-2537, and that way we can get those answered. Dean says, I know I had a leak with a nail on my tire, and it was just after 5 p.m., and it wouldn't have been great. Yeah, they get those, they start a little bit earlier, but yeah, right about 5. Yep. Mike says, I have repaired all of my own trucks for 40 years, but seems drivers get paid better than the mechanics do. Yeah. That I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure what the mechanic pay is. I'd rather work on heavy trucks than our cars. Yeah, too many. Well, they all have too many for me, I can tell you that. Let's be honest. All right, you guys have a great one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully it'll stay sunny. Thanks for your input, and I guess I will visit with you guys soon. Take care.